everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today we're going to talk about some upgrades in Walt Disney World and whether they're worth it to pay for. There are lots of potential upgrades in Walt Disney World, things like park hoppers, minivans, deluxe dining plan, things like that. And we're going to let you know, first of all, let's crunch the numbers, figure out how much extra it will cost, and then we're going to let you know maybe which people and which families these upgrades are going to be the best fit for. The first thing I want to talk about is park hoppers. Does it make sense to spend the extra money on your ticket to upgrade to a park hopper ticket? Okay, so let's break down the cost. Right now, it costs about $50 to $75 more, whether you're doing one day or multiple days. So if you're doing only one day in a park, it's going to cost you around $55 more depending on the season. So if it's value season, regular season, or peak season. So if you go for 10 days, it's going to cost you about $75 more to add your park hopper to every single day. So that's not $75 per day, that's $75 period, one time to add your park hopper to every single day. So obviously it's going to be smarter to add your park hopper if you're going for more days because it's just going to cost less per day to do that park hopper. So right now, doing the math, a 2-day ticket upgraded to a park hopper is $64 total, and a 10-day ticket upgraded to a park hopper is $75 total, if I did the math right. So first up, if you're going for more days, it may make more sense to add that park hopper. Secondly, the big benefit, the big cost-saving benefit is going to be in time and convenience for adding that park hopper. If you guys are like me, time is money. You definitely want to make the most of your visit. You don't want to be constrained to only going into one park per day. And so the time and convenience factor is significant even when it doesn't necessarily break down into dollars, so to speak. So here's some examples. With a park hopper, you can do an extra magic hour in one park and then switch over to a less crowded park for the rest of the day because extra magic hour parks are usually the most crowded parks that day. It can get really difficult to plan, and having that park hopper, especially if you're just spending $75 extra for 10 whole days or however many days you're in the parks, that really saves you a lot of time and effort and kind of Rubik's Cube level strategy to figure out who can go into what parks on what days. I'm going to say this a lot in this video. Something to consider here is that if you have, 6 or 7 people in your party, paying that $75 6 or 7 times is going to get expensive. So that's something to consider. Only put that park hopper on for the people that really need it, or, go ahead and do the strategy so you don't have to pay that extra $75 for that many people. Now, Disney did just announce that they're going to be moving to a date-based ticket pricing system on October 16th of 2018. This means that your tickets each day will have a different price based on when you go, and that price will also affect multi-day tickets. Based on what I understand of this change, park hopper upgrades won't change price that much. You're still going to have around the same price to do a park hopper upgrade on your ticket, whether it's one day or multiple days. So this advice stands firm even after the ticket price date-based system comes in October. But as soon as I see that system and I use that system, I may let you know in the future if I change my mind on that one. But for now, I think the park hopper ticket upgrade advice still stands. Okay, moving on to an annual pass. Does it make sense to buy an annual pass? What's the break-even point? Those two things are actually different. The break-even point may not decide for you whether or not it makes sense to buy an annual pass. So you can figure out the financial break-even point for you by calculating the prices of your park tickets if you were to go on individual trips throughout the year versus the price of the annual pass. That's pretty easy to do, but it does change depending on how many trips you take and how many days you're in the parks at each given time. But it might make sense for you to get an annual pass even if you're going to Disney World for fewer days than what your break-even point states. Even though the math doesn't on paper work out, the thing is, annual pass holders get a bunch of benefits and bonuses that actually do work out into dollars and cents on paper. First up, theme park parking is going to cost you $22 a day for a car. So $22 a day, if you're there for 10 days, that's going to be $220. So you're you're going to save that, even if you're only there for 10 days. Your memory maker is going to cost you $169 to $199, depending on when you purchase it. And memory maker is kind of like you get your PhotoPass pictures, you get all of those for free. Not for free, obviously you're paying for them, but you get all of those as part of memory maker, and annual pass holders get that for free. So $169 to $199. So there's another couple $100. Your food, hard ticket event, tours, and merchandise discounts. Food is usually 10% off of participating restaurants. There's a lot of participating restaurants. Hard ticket events, things like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. You get significant savings on merchandise discounts is 20% off of merchandise at Disney-owned locations. So depending on how much merch you buy, that can be significant. So it's very easy to save $100 to $200 on 7 days in a park with those discounts as well. So that already brings you up to $400 to $600 right there with those benefits. So how do you know if buying an annual pass makes sense? Well, first, if you go to the parks for enough days that the park ticket cost will equal or exceed that of an annual pass, obviously. But second, figure out which pass holder perks you might use and might benefit your family, and factor in those savings as well. Also, note that you can buy an annual pass for just one person in the family and still get all of those cost-saving benefits. So even if you just buy an annual pass for one person, you don't have to buy them for everybody else, but you still get your memory maker for free, your parking for free, etc. All right, the next upgrade we're going to talk about is Deluxe Dining. And this is the dining plan, of course, the Disney dining plan, which most people get either the quick service or their standard dining, but there is a Deluxe Dining that gives you basically 1.5 extra credits per day, table service credits. So, for example, the standard dining plan gives you 1 counter service credit and 1 table service credit per day. And the Deluxe Dining plan gives you 3 table or counter service credits per day. So you can use those 3 as table service credits, or you can use them as counter service credits. That's up to you. So that extra 1.5 credits that you get per day, and I say 1.5 because the standard gives you 1 counter service and 1 table service per day, and Deluxe gives you that extra table service per day, plus it turns that counter service credit into, it could be a table service if you wanted it. That's where I get the 1.5 extra. So those can get you anywhere from $20 to $60 or more per day. You can turn those credits into those, those dollar amounts depending on where you eat. So Deluxe Dining is $40 extra per night above and beyond the standard dining plan cost. So if you end up using your credits to their ultimate benefit, you could actually come out on top with Deluxe Dining. But this means you're going to do a lot of table service. So this means you're going to use all 3 of those credits each day for table service, or you're going to do a lot of signature dining. So you're going to do a lot of 2-credit dining, because those credits also include an appetizer, and that's not included on the standard dining plan. So all 3 of those credits every day include your appetizer and your dessert. And on the standard plan, you don't get the appetizer. So that could make a significant dollar difference as well. So if you're going to eat a lot of table service and getting those appetizers, or you're going to eat a lot of signature, even though those are 2 credits each, you're still going to get those more expensive items, more expensive appetizers, more expensive meals, period. So that's how you know if Deluxe Dining's right for you. Lots of table service or lots of signature dining. But I just want to clarify, Deluxe Dining is an extensive amount of very, very rich food. It's very hard to eat that much food. So when making your plans, remember that you can also pay out of pocket for any extra appetizers that you want if you have the standard dining plan. So if you think really hard about whether or not you want to eat quite that much food, it's a lot of food on that Deluxe Dining plan. Let's talk about ride-sharing services, specifically minivans. Minivans is a great upgrade happening in Disney World right now. These are dedicated ride-sharing services that are driven by Disney cast members. All the cars are owned by Disney, run by Disney, and it's a competitor basically to Uber and Lyft, even though it is run by Lyft. It is part of your Lyft app. So minivans is a little tougher at this minute to determine worth and value because they're switching over to a per distance fee. Before they were $25 flat fee anywhere on property, they're switching over to a per distance fee right now. It hasn't been in effect long enough for us to determine worth yet and to accurately compare it to regular Uber and Lyft rates. But basically, it's pretty safe to say that minivans will be one of the most expensive ride-sharing options the majority of the time, and therefore we do consider them an upgrade. That said, there are a few non-financial upgrades to know about minivans that might help you decide if they're worth kind of upgrading and spending that extra cost, whatever that extra cost is. First up, there's going to be 2 high-end, clean, new car seats in the minivans, in every minivan. I know the parents out there who are watching this, you guys know how important that is. If you've got 2 kids and you don't have to drag car seats around, or you can rely on a ride-sharing service to have clean, upgraded, safe car seats that haven't been in accidents, that get replaced regularly. Oh my goodness, right? That makes so much difference. And most of us will pay just about any upcharge to guarantee those seats. So that's a huge, huge deal. They have a dog blanket if you have a puppy with you or a dog with you. They have a dog blanket that can go on the seat so your dog can sit on that. They have chargers for your phones and electronics right there in the minivan that you can use during your trip. You're being driven around by a very knowledgeable Disney cast member, usually who's been working for Disney for a long period of time. They know their way around the park, and they also can answer all of your questions. So if you have any questions about Disney, about your trip, etc., about dining plan, any of that stuff, you can ask them those questions while you're traveling. And it's also really nice to know that the drivers have kind of been pre-screened, depending on when you're traveling. Sometimes that's really anxiety settling, especially if you've got your kids in the car with you. It's a dependable and reliable vehicle that can be guaranteed this is Disney quality. They upgrade those vehicles. They've got them well maintained. You can be guaranteed that that's going to be the case. There's Disney music playing in the background. They really try to create a positive, magical atmosphere in the car, so you don't really ever have to feel like you are leaving the Disney magic, even though you're in a ride-sharing service. And finally, the perk I think is the most important one for minivans. They pick up and drop off right in the Magic Kingdom bus area. If you take Lyft or Uber or any other ride-sharing service, they have to pick you up and drop you off at the Transportation and Ticket Center for the Magic Kingdom, whereas minivans can come directly to the Magic Kingdom. So if you're leaving Magic Kingdom after fireworks or trying to get to the Magic Kingdom early or on a timeline, taking a minivan is going to save you a ton of time because you don't have to make your way all the way to or from the Transportation and Ticket Center, especially when those monorail lines are long. So this has just been part 1 of our 2-part video series about upgrades and whether they're worth it at Walt Disney World. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned. In a couple of days, we're going to put up our part 2 of upgrades and talk about a bunch more for you. This is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.